Hello, I'm Dr. Judith Yost, and this is Dr. Will Taegel, and we're the faculty for an upcoming class with Wisdom University called Exploring Earth Wisdom and the Primordial Mind. That class will be this coming May, and it will be here in the Texas Hill Country. One of the major reasons that we're wanting to move into this realm is related to the turbulence on the planet today. We're all aware of the incredible outbreak of the People's Voice in the Middle East. Nobody knows what the outcome of that's going to be. We're aware of the ecological crisis with global warming. Whatever the debate is about the cause, we know it's happening. New Zealand has had a terrific earthquake recently, just in the last few days, with a high death toll. The oil spill in the Gulf of Mexico, we have no idea the outcome of that. But we do know that our Earth, our Mother Earth, is struggling, and we're struggling as a species among species upon this planet. So we're going to talk today about some of the ways that we are looking at the crisis and the situation from a deeper level than just technological advancement.
Yes, and we're proposing that crucial in this moment of our time as humans is tapping into and tuning into earth wisdom and the primordial mind. But what is the primordial mind? That's a term borrowed and from Alfred North Whitehead, one of my favorite mathematicians and philosophers. Primordial refers to the most basic, the beginning, the genesis of things. So if you go back to the moment of the Big Bang and notice that just a millisecond after the Big Bang, if the universe had been expanding just a billionth faster, then it would have flown apart. If it had been expanding just a little slower, it would have coalesced and never formed our solar system. So there was some intelligence that we're calling the primordial mind, because this knowledge about how to do what at that moment did not evolve. It was just there. So we're hoping that we'll be able to tune into that primordial mind and work with that in this particular intensive.
The notion that we're setting forth is that humans actually can be a tuning device to tune into these fields of energy and get information from the eco-field, from the land, from the mountains. Some of you may have heard of Rupert Sheldrake and his idea of morphogenic fields. It's somewhat the same kind of idea, that we're looking at how we can develop ourselves as a tuning device to hear what the Earth is wanting to say to us.
Yes, and we're really looking at exploring and becoming field guides for the set of interlocking fields that the new science of ecofields is exploring for us. In fact, I've been researching that for quite some time, and we'll have some of that material in our intensive. There have been 8 major ecofields that have been laid down in terms of consciousness in the 200,000-year human story. And Judith and I propose that as you go down the spiral of these ecofields, which have memes within them, that we get to a particular ecofield we call the shamanic era. And there, in this intensive, we will seek to retrieve some of the capacities to tune into the loins or the fields of the earth. And the information that we get from this tuning in, we hold is absolutely necessary for this next leg of the journey. And for example,
well, just a few weeks ago I had the great pleasure of being on the island of Maui in the Hawaiian Islands. And this happens to be the time of year that the whales migrate from the north and come and give birth and also mate in the waters between the islands in the Hawaiian Islands. The whale has been what I would call a totem animal, an animal wisdom keeper and wisdom giver for me for most of my adult life. So being in that place with the whales was a gift just to know that they were there. The greater gift was being out on the ocean and actually seeing the whales. And at one point we weren't seeing any whales, and one of my cohort and I started singing a song that had a Native American song called Calls the Spirit Song. And so we sang that song, and very quickly a whale came to this big boat. We were on a big boat, and it was a big whale. It came up out of the water, completely out of the water, and turned on her side and crashed back into the water. I felt like I was in a field of energy, and I felt that this was truly not an accident. So that's just a small piece of how really being tuned in to what we can learn from the whales. I mean, whales are incredibly intelligent, beautiful beings.
I have here a rock, and this rock is from Amonadok, or Batholith, the largest one in North America and a great place of power, and we will visit this at the intensive. For what reason? This is 1 to 3 billion years old, and it has a form of consciousness according to ecofield science and theory. Is it possible that if we can learn how to communicate and receive in an exchange of information and wisdom from this rock, could it provide us with meaning that we might need in order for our species to flourish and find its place? As field guides, and we'll learn how to be field guides to a certain extent through this soul retrieval in our intensive, we will develop the ability, the specific tools about how to retrieve information from whales and rocks and trees and wind in a very specific way, so that we humans might recover from that shamanic era, that permeable quality between humans and non-humans on our beautiful blue planet.
I hope that you will join us.